today's. So basically, the first part is a minimal deployment process that specifically allows you to be able to deploy to, just a free, not free, it has paid versions too, but as fast as possible without stress and any other issue as regards deployment and the likes. So in to continue our deployment process, this wasn't deployment was factored into the whole thing, but specifically AWS is an exclusive version of this course, and it's just like a bonus for you because I believe with this tutorial session, once whenever an interviewer asks you in an interview that what deployment platforms are you familiar with, telling them that you are familiar with AWS is a top notch. And I believe that you having this is also something. In AWS, there are various certifications that you can aim that can also allow you to aim higher in terms of cloud engineering and in terms of being a cloud engineer. And I encourage you to also try and attain these certificates because it is also part of what will make you stand out. As it is, whatever it is that you know, if it is a background, you have everybody that have the background. If you are a step ahead, you're a step ahead. You understand? So please endeavor to try and check out for AWS certifications. So it's available, and I think it costs about $100 per certificate to write an exam. So I think we have the physical, we have the virtual, this thing. I think in Lagos, I think there is a physical this thing where you can write the exam too. And also, we have different platforms that offers even 50%, $50 per the certificate. So, and it's cost you nothing because all you just have to do is, I'm sure the lowest certificate, this is cloud practitioner, you can hand that certificate by full dedication in a month. You understand? So that's just it. So please endeavor to also, attain this certificate. It's quite essential. So I'll be using my own personal account to log into the root user. So you can sign up. When you sign up, you'll be asked to create an MFA to allow you to log in. So I would also be signing in with my MFA code. So that's on my phone already. So the sign up process is quite straightforward, just like normal sign up, but so as not to waste much of our time, I'm not going to go through the sign up because I believe it's just something you can just get sorted. So I think let me just input my MFA code and yep. All right. So this is AWS. So this AWS platform is wide. When I mean something is wide, it is wide. And it's something I wish to see you tell me I've gotten so certificates there and the likes. So it's comprised of a whole lot of stuff. I'll be telling you the do's and don'ts of AWS before we proceed. In AWS, if your aim is to deploy, just an application, please just make sure you do not leave that application turned on, that instance turned on. You do not leave it turned on. When we say when we say an instance, what do we mean? Instance in AWS is what we basically call EC2. So EC2 is Elastic Cloud Compute. This Elastic Cloud Compute is of different sizes. We have it of different versions. Just like all these Alienware, all these maths, graphics, and everything system, and all these machines that we have, they are like the virtual versions of it. We have Mac on AWS. You can host a Mac machine on AWS. You can host a Windows server on AWS. You can host an Ubuntu system on AWS. It's comprised of different image builders, but yeah, we call them at times AWS, AMI, and AWS image builders and the likes. So it's comprised of different builders, and we have different systems that cost a lot. You can imagine a system costing you $1 per hour, likes of Gravitons and the likes. So, but for this particular course, we would only be going through an Ubuntu system of, let's say, lower megabyte, lower storage, then about 2 gig RAM. So in AWS, if you are going to test, whenever you are planning to test, please do not allow your instance to run for more than an hour. When you register, they are going to give you 750 free hours per month. If you don't want your instance to read per hour, make sure to destroy that instance before an hour completes. But if you can pay the price, turn it on, leave it on. You understand? So your instance, when we say instance, when we say running, what we are trying to say is AWS will bill you if your instance is running. They will not bill you if your instance is turned off. So once you build what you want to build on your instance, just turn it off and you are good to go. I don't know if you get the logic behind that. So that's just it. So resources that we have here, we have instances. This depicts the running instances. Elastic IPs. Elastic IPs are IPs that do not change from time to time. IPs, when you switch off your machine and switch it on, if you connect to another network or maybe another place, your IPs would change from time to time, depending on what it is that you're. It's just like you connected to a VPN. It changes. But once you have an elastic IP on AWS, you have a static IP. Turn that system on and off for the next 2 billion years. 2 billion times. Your IP will always be the same, but you will be billed per hour. Please take all this billing serious. They will bill you per hour, like they will bill you. So I know what I'm saying. They will bill you like. So we have what we call load balancers. You see, load balancers. What load balancers does is it's when you most of the time when they tell you server is unreachable, server is too busy, this and that. When we were 5 years, not even 5 years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years back, or even 10 years, when festive periods come, what happens? The server becomes too busy. People will have to, the following working day, people will have to go to the bank in large numbers because the server has hanged, a lot of stuff has happened during the weekend. But when we bring in load balancers, what load balancers does is we have different zones. In these different zones, load balancer tends to direct traffic to the less busy, less traffic combined, less systems with lesser traffic. So in that kind of situation, what happens? Everything relax. And that's what we even call auto-scaling. What auto-scaling does is it scales up applications and quickly builds new AMIs into the system. So it now scales your traffic. Once a system is too busy, when we say a system is too busy, it spins up another one. How is it not going to accommodate you? No matter how large you are, it will accommodate you. That's why I say AWS is just too good. You understand? So these load balancers allows you to balance your load across zones, across regions, across wherever it is that you have. And we call snapshots. Snapshots are just the current status of your application, where it is, what you have, and the like. So this is the auto-scaling group. Instances is just the combination of both the running and the ones that are not running. Then the placement groups that you put them, then the volumes like where you have your hard drive. Yeah, your hard drive. You have a series of hard drives at home, those external hard drives that you, Mr. Talk about, that the ones you kept mainly for movies. Did you recollect the ones so the combination of those volumes, that's what I'm trying to say. So that's just a joke, by the way. So the dedicated host, then the key peers, then the security groups. Security groups are who have access to so thing. Security groups is so sweet that if I should bind a security group to an instance, you know what it does? What it's going to do is, if that security group allows ports 2000, believe me, your instance will not reach the internet. if the only thing that security group is to allow port 2000, is there port 2000? No. What we have that is coming in from the internet is either 80 or 443. And your instance is not allowing 443 and 80. How do you expect users to reach it? For you. So that's why hackers, they are genius, because they know all these things. So once they gain access to this stuff, they have access to everything. You understand? They know what they are doing. So once your system is unreachable, bro, they might have tampered with your security group, not even your instance at all. They know that's where you will go to. But they might even tamper with your security group. That's why who can change security group is also part of what we learn. Then when we now say key pairs, instances like your laptop has user and has password. Take that user and password to be hashed. You understand? Let's hash that username and password and make it a key pair. That key pair is what we have here. That key pair is what we use to SSH into an instance. You understand? It's what we use to access instance, and then all the hosts that we have on the machine. So that is it, and that is what we'll have here. So that's just it. So this is what we call launch instance, server, service health, and the likes. So I'll also take time to explain this. I want to groom you in such a way that when you even want to take up a cloud engineer's role, you do not have anything, but you have what it takes to explain to them. They will know what you're saying. You understand? So you can see what we have by the side. We have the target groups, and we have the work similar to those security groups too. So we have the network interface. The network interface, there is what we call NAT, and there is what we call, sorry, I've forgotten the other one. Network protocol. At times, we have machines, microservices that runs on the internet, but do not run on ports, on the normal ports. Have you ever seen a live stream, how live stream is being done? With my own experience with live stream that you see on the internet, that they tell you OBS or what itself, they do not work on normal ports. Live stream works on ports 1935 or any other port that your organization defines for it. How will you now expose 1935 to the internet? You have to bind it under a network adapter. Let's go. You understand? Under that network adapter, that's where you now have a custom URL that allows you to access it. So all those places that you used to see, okay, OBS and the likes and various ones, you see enter server name and the likes, they are not using 80 or 443. What are they using? RTMP. So that's just that part. So let's move on. So I've explained this side, and I think so. These AMIs, they are similar to your Ubuntu disk image, Windows disk. You know, remember the era where we used to take Windows disk up and down now. So those Windows disk, that's what they are similar to. Before we now start having them as ISO files, now Windows disk thing. So that's just what we have. So the launch templates. So launch templates are similar to, let's say, when you want to boot your laptop and you tell your laptop, I don't know if it's available, it's now available on Windows, I'm not so sure. It says it's available. When you tell the system, do not close tabs, launch them. You understand? Once you start it again, it's going to start those applications back. When you want to launch an instance, the launch template is just like, let's say, it's a bash file that we used to write. We write that file, and once our instance wants to run, it is going to automatically run those stuffs. If it is to install a virus there, it will install, to do anything. That's why Nigeria do not value tech. Seriously. Yet, Nigeria is here to value tech. Everybody just wants to be on the tech space. We do not have everything in place. Cloud securities and engineers are not in place. And we are building systems now. These systems will haunt us later. And before they haunt us later, try to attain this certificate that helps you secure these systems so that by that time you still be in market, you still be in high demand. Not like, okay, we don't need a web or a mobile developer. We need someone to secure the existing web and mobile apps that we have on that we have running in our organization. I don't know if you get that part, but try to ponder what's up. So let's go. So we have instances. So that's where we launch instance. So in AWS, we have what we call launch instance, where you can launch your instance. And what you're seeing here is instance state. So here you can reboot an instance, terminate an instance, and stop an instance and do whatever it is that you want to do. Here we have the instance settings where you can, change one or two things. So, but once I start an instance, I would kind of let you guys know. So what I'm going to do is we have about time currently is 9:30. I'll start this instance. We'll switch it on by 10:30, or we'll terminate it by 10:30. Then we might start another one if we still need to. You understand? So I'm not to incur billings on this account. You understand? AWS is very, very strict in terms of billings. So be careful not to forget to turn off any system that you want to initiate. So we'll call this DSS again. I can call it digital school. So what they're trying to tell you here is, please don't see this as mystery. Some set of tech gurus built this stuff. There are something there are something you just need to calm down, sit down, check out, you understand? And, get to interact with the system. My account is well over 1 year with AWS. So I don't think this still applies to me. This is what I'm trying to tell you, that they will give you free tier for the first year, which includes 750 hours of T2 micro. So T2 micro, what are T2 micros? T2 micros are machines on the internet. So these machines are, they have RAM, they have, let's say they have RAM, they have ROM. So what these two things are basically is your laptop. We have Dell Latitude. Those Dell Latitude are always very big. Man, these white people have they have built a lot of systems that, you understand, those ones that do not even have much processor, that is always very slow, like all these systems that exactly so they are not the same as T2 micro, but I'm just trying to tell you they are like smaller systems that before you start getting to all these current mad systems that HP's, Dell's, the same Dell, all these guys are now building, and they will tell you has 16 gig RAM, maybe 16 gig dedicated graphics card. You understand? All these shits that they do have, like, it makes sense. So that is it, Sha. So let's just move on. This is what I was trying to explain as regard AMI. So the machine image. If you don't have a Mac, you can have a Mac on the internet now. If you don't have Windows, you can have Windows on the internet now. If you don't have Linux, you can have Linux on the internet. If you don't have Red Hat, you can have Red Hat on the internet. Colleagues, we as tech gurus do not have any excuse to say, I cannot be an engineer. Why? It's because as long as you have internet, your laptop, and power supply, and also you have the passion for this, I don't think there is any other blocker for you. Mr. Toko, what do you think? Are you also seeing the way I'm saying? You get? So I don't think you should have any other thing. And you value your time. Please value your time, because it's actually part of it. It's part of what we invest in. Because the time you used to study this now is what you earn you understand tomorrow. So how will you now tell me that I don't have Windows? Can I tell you I don't have Windows? You can just come here and dedicate 1 hour to come and run your Windows stuff. If you want to run an attack on Windows or something, you get. Can you tell me you don't have Mac? Can you tell me bro, Mr. Tokwe, let's get things sorted. We have no excuse. So by God's grace, it's going to be fine. You understand? So now we have this. So this is what they call the Amazon, what's it called? So when you get there, make sure to kind of select the image you want. So once you can select Amazon Linux, that's what is going to appear here. If you select macOS, you can see that's what is going to appear here. So these guys are very technical to the extent that Amazon Ventura is not even up to, I don't think it's up to a year now that it has been on what's it called now. You understand? So, and these systems are just kind of, man, it's just cool. So when your organization is telling you that you cannot pay for so thing, and you know the value of what they want to deploy out, tell them what you think. In as much as sure of what you are trying to defend, proceed. You understand? So how with the Ubuntu, why I recommend Ubuntu is because you can see, for instance, now up you can see that this macOS, there is no free version. You understand? So it's not, that's, we are just trying to tell you, we are not joking here. These guys are not joking with money. They are not joking at all. They are not joking with money. So why I recommend Ubuntu is because what are the qualifications that allows us to pick a particular stuff? Qualifications that allows us to pick a particular stuff. Please, when you want to buy anything on the internet, say Konga or any marketplace, what do you use to check? You check for ratings, you check for people's, comments and likes. You see, Ubuntu, we might not have a lot of people using it on their laptops, but it has a larger, or let me even say the largest community. You understand? Even though we have a lot of people using Windows, people might be using Windows for development, but they do not usually use Windows on servers. It's not like they can't use it. It's not that they don't want it, but what does us require Windows? Why should you use it? Ubuntu is task specific. When I mean task specific, you tell it to do this, it does it. You get? So whatever, it's just to do. You understand? Let's just put it that way. So we have the 2204. Then the version that you are trying to use, always check out for the version. When we say version, we're trying to tell you that 2004 might be having changes, breaking changes, not ordinary changes, breaking changes that might not be compatible with maybe the forward proxy or the reverse proxy that you want to use, or whatever it is that you want to use. And now we do not have people that have resolved that issue. You understand? So it's just like people used to pass third mainland bridge very well. You understand? When it breaks down, what's the government? What are they going to do? They quickly, find support and do it. Even people, if federal governments will even say, okay, come, we want people to be able to pass this bridge. People volunteer to go and build up. I want to not to talk before we now talk of a bridge that we have only 10 people that are passing there. We will volunteer. Out of that 10 people, we might have 9 out of them that don't even like stress in their life, or maybe they are not even based in, you understand? So that's what I'm trying to say here. So you picking 2004 or 2204. 2204 is the latest. 2004 is still very, 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 it still has large community that helps resolve whatever issue that you're facing there, be it your packages or something. We also have 2304 currently now. Yeah, we have 2304. No, we have 2304. Yeah, so we have the Windows server. So based on whatever it is that you want to use, you can see we have the Windows, what's it called? Windows server, something, and we have free a lot. You can see server 19. So live is really spinning fast. So errors of servers 19 and it's all these 19 and likes, and so we have all these SUSE Linux, then Debian, So please read about these guys. Some of them are more powerful than the ones that you want to use. But because it has larger community, that's why people tend to use it very well. So now let's go. This is where we see the billing. Someone is telling you to bring 0.0134 USD per hour. So to run that kind of instance in 24 hours is going to cost you how much? It's going to cost you maybe, let's say, about 2.4, 0.24. So if that's costing you about, let's just average of about 0.24, then what if I intend to run it for a month? You understand? So just average the whole thing. You can see this is less expensive, but check out what we called the system spec. We have one vCPU. So when we say one vCPU, we are trying to tell you virtual. You understand? So 1 gig memory. Can that even serve? It can serve a small application, but can it serve okay, can it serve the NYSC portal? Mr. Tokwe, I don't know if you are getting my logic.
Yes, I'm following.
Can it?
Yeah.
It cannot serve. It cannot even serve 1,000 traffic per hour at the same time. Except, let's say maybe they are not requesting for anything. You understand? So this is where so let's just go with this free tier eligible. So irrespective of if they are going to bill me, I'll make sure I cancel that instance for this, what's it called, for this within an hour, so that I don't get billed on this account. Yep. And okay, now we have the key pair. This is what I'm trying to tell you. So this key pair is what whoever has this key pair can log into your instance. If you lost access to this key pair, you would not be able to access the application. You understand? Your instance. And once you lost key pair, or maybe you bring in a firewall into your instance, not even outside, bounding it in your instance, and you go and block port 22. The best thing for you is just to pick up the EBS volume. The EBS volume is just like your hard disk too, or your SSD. Just pick the EBS volume, destroy the instance, and go and use the EBS volume, and go and attach the EBS volume to another instance. Otherwise, you are just, you won't be able I don't think there is any other thing that is that. So please be careful. All these things might sound like jokes or something, but please try to take that serious. All right. So let's just say DSS login. Yep. One more CSS login. Yep. So that is it. Then we create the key pair. So they'll download the key pair for me once I click on create. So can you see we have the download here, DSS login. So it's always in PEM key. So, and a lot of obstacles. Mr. Tokwe, are you ready? Let me ask. A lot of obstacles are waiting for you. Are you ready? Let's smile a little bit. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You are ready, okay? Why I'm asking is because, you see, I would like to go through a lot of stress because you all have been wonderful. I won't lie to you. So, you see, that PEM key is not going to work until you restrict access to that PEM key on your laptop. You see, when you sign into any laptop, there is what we call root access. I know you know about that one very well. And there's what we call there's this other global access. So it's something similar to I don't know if what are you seeing on my screen currently? Can you say anything?
Yeah, that's the home page, your home page.
Home page. I want to try and show you something similar to what I'm trying to say. Okay, let me just say get info. Just give me a moment. Let me see if I can drag one of these stuffs here. Sorry, bro. I'll just try and see. Oh man, see now allowing me to grab. Okay, well, let me just, I'm coming. Just give me a moment. So, quick action. Yeah, I have what it's. Yeah, can you see my screen now? Yeah,
Yes.
this is. So this thing that you're saying, it will be like this on Mac, but on Windows too, something similar. But I just want you to have an idea. You see, the untitled folder is the new folder that you saw me that I just created now, like on this home screen currently. So in case when you are looking at this video, it might look like magic. Let me rename the folder. I'll rename it to DSS so that by the time you are checking it might be long after now. So that it doesn't look somehow. So let me just get in free. So can you see DSS? I just changed the name to DSS. So you see, but in this case, I'm using a file, a folder. When you are trying to do yours, you're using that PEM file. So this is where I'm going to. Can you see this place where I have my mouse? We have everyone.
Yeah.
We have admin. The only person that must have access to this file should be the admin. If everyone have access to this file, it's not going to work. You understand? Because you can use your terminal to SSH into an instance. So what SSH is just like a door that we use to access a house. You understand? So we have likes of OpenSSH and the likes. But by default, on your terminal, we can SSH into any instance. By terminal, just go to your terminal and point to the what's it called to the IP address of that machine. So now let's go so that we don't waste much of our time. I think time is fast spent, but we must achieve what we want to achieve there. Now we have the VPC. You see, in AWS, we have VPC, virtual private cloud, and sorry, I closed this. And we have what we call subnets. We have what to call auto-assigned IP. We have firewall. But before I get to that, VPC is that your private cloud. You get your region. They tell you this is my territory. This is my territory. In this situation, what we are trying to tell you is your territory is 17 to 172.31.00/16. That is the range of the IP address that your region can take. Mr. Topman, like, are you following?
Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah, so that's the range. So, and when we now talk about the subnet is just the group that can fall under that particular distance. Subnets, we can have subnets 1, 2, 3. This is subnet 1, 2, 3. Subnets are on we have a land of 14 acres, or let's say 12. All of them are split into 4. First 4 is a subnet. Second 4 is a subnet. Third 4 is a subnet. This is what we are saying. But where are they? They're on the same acre of land. 12 acres of land. You understand? So each 4 plots, 4 acres rather, sorry, they are zoned. You have a village. A village has 3 sub-village under it. You understand? That village, that main king in that village is the head over others. So they will emulate that particular guy. So that's what we call zone. Zone 1, zone B, zone C, zone A, B, C are different zones in your network, in your cloud. If zone 1 is too busy, traffic goes to zone B. Zone B is busy, traffic goes to C. Zone B is down, A and C is active. A is down, C is active. We are not God. But we have rare cases that all zones will be down. Man, if all zones are down, go and log that developer up. No, sorry, go and log that engineer up. But let's say probably something went wrong somewhere. You understand? Subnets are just what we we tend to call maybe little security to make something available. You can even see what they wrote there, availability zone. We are available across all these zones. You understand? A company that is not making much is not advised to launch their application in 3 different zones. Please launch in only a, you understand? Launch one zone. If you are making more, launch zone B. If you are making more, launch zone C. What is in A is what is in B is what is in C. Same database across. Replica sets. Mr. Tokwe, can you now link everything together? While I was talking about replica, the database you have in zone A is what you have in zone B, is what you have in zone C. Replica sets across everybody. One of them is the primary. If one is down, the other one becomes the primary. If one is down, the other one becomes the primary. If you can see, if one is down, if two of them is down and we have one up, once everybody, two other ones, once they come up, replica set functions across them, and immediately data are being written into the other 2 zones. So if you are connecting to zone B before, you don't know, we don't know, you are connecting to zone B before, all of a sudden, you went to WhatsApp to go and view status and you came back. Zone B is full, they have to transfer it to zone A to make requests. Your data is still the same thing. You are getting me? Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. So we have the next one, which is auto-assigned IP address. If you disable auto-assigned IP address, your instance will not be publicly available. So auto-assigned public IP address is going to allow your instance to be accessible from the internet. Yes. So that's just that part. So when we say firewall, firewalls are just what we tend to use to secure our stuff. I was explaining this security group the other time. Sorry, I need to cut right there. Sorry, just give me 2 seconds. 30 seconds. Security groups are basically what we use to bind our application to either expose it to the internet or not. So I would create a security group now. This is how you create it. If I should click on select existing security group, it is going to tell me to come and pick security group, but I only have one, the default, but I'm not interested in the default. I want to show you 1 or 2 stores so that even if you are going to go and watch maybe a tutorial or anything, you still be familiar with it. You understand? So we have source who can access our stuff. You can see what we have here. We have 00000. Recall that the other time that we talked about 0000, what is the meaning is anybody can access from anywhere. So, but if you want to pick custom, so you can decide to pick whatever access group you want to pick from. You understand? So we have type here, and we have the ports group we have here to allow what is it from either the internet or anywhere. So let's just put this as anyhow. So you can see who's with RIP comes the so thing. Now we have what we call inbound security group rules and outbound security group. Inbound and outbound. You are going for an event. Mr. Tokwe, that wedding that you went to today, they gave you 2 tickets, the one that you used to enter and the one that you used to go out. If you do not have the one that you used to go out, they will lock you inside. If you have the one that you used to enter, if you don't have one that you used to enter, you cannot enter. You understand? So how will you even go out? So that's just it. Same thing. Inbound security group, you can access the system. If you give this instance an inbound security group of let's say for HTTP, HTTPS, and the likes, they must be able to access the internet too. If your instance is meant to communicate with another instance, what does that mean? Outbound security group. What port is it going to use to communicate with it? Let's say 270.17. Your instance wants to connect to the database, and you do not allow that. How is it going to access it? I hope you get, Mr. Tope. So that's just it. So you see here that we have HTTPS ports, so which is 443 by default. So we can also add another one and say port HTTP. We have HTTP, let's say, sorry, we have HTTP by default, all traffic. We have HTTP. Yeah, this is HTTP. So we can add another one too. If your instance SMTP server, your company is building an SMTP server. Can you see the SMTP server that we were discussing the other time here? This is the SMTP. So, but if you guys are proud, you can decide to allow all traffic. Once you allow traffic, anybody that brings any port in can access your system. And that's congratulations. You are allowing attack to your system. So you can see the POP3, IMAP, LDAP, SMTPS, IMAPs, POP3S, MSQL, NFS. NFS, I know you're aware of that, but NFS, what is NFS? Is that a point? Any idea? NFS. So it's just a file system too. So NFS is a file system that we use to access elastic file system on the internet. As you are, if you have an AWS account, maybe for your family or your generation or something, you can have an infinite EFS system that everybody can store their files forever. Google does adverts concerning what's it called? Concerning you storing in their cloud, because they have competitors. You as a software engineer now can decide to use EFS. What is EFS? EFS is Elastic File System on AWS. You understand? So NFS is now the port number that allows you to be able to communicate with EFS system. Mr. Tokwe, what's up? Mr. Tokwe, hello? Mr. Tokwe, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know I was mute, and my mic was mute. I was on mute.
So I just want to know if you are here. Is it making sense or is it already getting boring?
No, it's actually it's going, but it's just much.
Actually, it's not much,
I'm still
but
going
it
to go
takes more.
through.
Yeah, it takes a lot of experience to also, get familiar with those stuff. So even if you don't get it now, you can still get it later. So that one is not an issue. So we have the volume type and the like. So these guys, they are giving you access to about 30 gig worth of EBS storage to be able to, interact with. But let me just leave it at 8 gig. I'm not storing anything on that instance at all. So this advanced details is where you can now come and write user data. What is user data? User data is a file that runs on the system at startup. This is where we write user data. It is being written in bash files. So we have it that way. Spot instance. What is spot instance? Spot instance is similar to an instance that is something that they give you. Spot instance, they are quite less expensive. But the bad part is AWS can say they need it at that point in time. Netflix is Netflix just released a movie, and maybe they have higher traffic that requires all the sports instances that are available. They can collect your own too, and they won't notify you more than maybe a few seconds or a few minutes. And if you don't have some check in place, it's going to affect you. I am instance profile. I am roles. I am roles is just roles that are binded to your account. So you can see the instant auto recovery, shut down behavior, then and behavior. All these ones are just little things that not really essential, but you can just check them out. There is nothing there. It's just normal data, it's normal system. So fine, we are good to go. We can now create our instance. So let's launch instance. So you can see we have some blockers. So all these ones are just for 000. Anybody can access it. They are not specific currently. Everybody.
Okay, but why is the location Frankfurt?
So Frankfurt is an is a region rather, sorry, is a region that AWS is available at. So you can check AWS availability region. So I'm coming. Let me just say AWS availability regions. So they have a page for it. So if your company is, you can see that's it, global infrastructure regions. So it is just like a map, something like. So they use it to show you where they are available. And I think they are now available in Africa too, in Lagos. I think it's so you can decide to choose anyone, but you can be in Europe tomorrow. If you are in Europe, which one is faster for you? Which one is more closer to you? You know, wherever you are in Europe, you can decide to pick Frankfurt. You understand? You understand? You can decide to pick Frankfurt because Frankfurt is closer to you. Why I have Frankfurt here is just because it's my default system. Another thing with this region that I have is this region infrastructure that I have is once I change region, if you are staying in Lekki currently, if you go to Apapa, what you have in Apapa is quite different from what you have in Lekki. You get the furniture that you have there. So if I change region, my instance would not follow me to Asia Pacific. I will have to create new instances, new everything there. You understand? So that's just changing regions. Regions are, and you should pick the regions that are closer to you so that your data can be delivered to you as fast as possible. Can you see? This is the map. So we have, if you should come to Africa, we have in Cape Town, we have region in Cape Town, I think. So you can see this Cape Town. So I don't know if they've updated this thing, but I heard they're launching one in Lagos, but not with all these things. Another side effect of all these things, all these zone regions, AZ, ability zones are, well, part of it is that each city might not be available in Cape Town. It's just for instance, so I'm very sure it will be available. But there are some set of infrastructures that are not available. If you have an heat extractor in Lekki, you might not have that heat extractor in Apapa because the apartment that you have there is quite small. And, you know, or maybe it's just a temperate region, very cold, and you do not need an heat extractor in your kitchen or something, you understand? Or anywhere that you want to place your heat extractor. Do you get? So if, and you want to use heat extractor in Apapa, maybe your neighbor wants to use it. The neighbor will now start saying, oh, why didn't you bring your heat extractor from Lekki? So if I should go and build my infrastructure in Cape Town might not have load balancers. And I start saying, oh, why don't I build everything up in Frankfurt or Asia Pacific? You get? Is it making sense?
Yeah. Yes.
What you have here is what we call Cloud Shell. So Cloud Shell is just to allow you to access the system, to access instances. So you can use Cloud Shell to access instances. You don't want to use your terminal directly. So we have everything. Cool. Yeah. Any other question?
No.
All right. So give me about 50 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we can now launch our instance. So it creates the security group, launches the instance, and give you what's up. So it's going to give you the logs based on whatever it is running. So you can see our instance is now up and running. So can I go to instances, please? This is AWS. Be scared of those guys. They can build you to the code. This 10:06. So we must quench, we must terminate the server as fast as possible. As soon as possible, sure. So this is what we, yeah, you can see we are independent states. So your state is going to change with respect to the, what's it called, sure. So you can see we now have our system to work around.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that's it. So all these things that you see here are just figures. So you have the name, you can decide to change this. Instance ID is just the ID that you use to reference your instance. The status, the type that we picked, we picked T2 micro. Status check.
Yeah.
Status check is going to tell you, as time goes on, you see this place that is going to change to green or red. It's just to tell you that the system is running perfectly or not. So alarm status, same thing, something similar to if you have an issue, error, or something. Availability zone. The availability zone I'll pick is A1. Public IPv6, IPv4. Public IPv4 can be used. DNS, DNS, domain name server, is just like is your domain, but for the instance, this is the DNS. To have custom DNS, AWS has an is it has something that you can use to have that you can use to mask your DNS. So have a custom, maybe let's say www.timtokpe.com. You understand? So something like that. So we have stuff like that. So but this DNS, we point it to our machine. Maybe if you have a cPanel or something, you get. So that's just it. You can see the public IPv4. Please note this public IPv4. We have 3.6.3.68.68.199.72. Now, I would switch off this instance. And you see what I'm trying to, what I'm trying to show you to stop. But let's keep going. So the public IP will go off now once this instance is turned off. So you'd see that the public IP will change, will go off, and would have to just go off. The monitoring disabled, we are not monitoring. Security group, the security group created there. You can see the key pair. This key pair is the key pair that I downloaded. Then we have the launch time, which is the last time that we launched it. So you can see the system is still trying to stop it. So it has stopped the instance. You can see we have no public IPv4 and what's it called? What we do not have that currently. So let me just refresh. Yep. So we have everything. You can see it's the software. We have no IPv4 anymore, but record that it is 3.68.199.74 if my memory serves me well. Then let's start this instance. You can see it's in the pending state. So if you scroll down these parts, you see all the stuff that you're seeing here, they are just letters and figures and what is it? Is that really something large like that? So if you should check the IPv4 again, what do you have here? Can you see it has changed to 35, 158, 122, 1232. Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. You can see it has changed
Yes.
because the public IP keeps changing. But once we bind an elastic IP to it, elastic IP is fixed. It doesn't change. If you turn it off or turn it on, it's still going to be there. But these guys, they are trillionaires. Like they like money. So I won't set up the elastic IP, but I'll just show you how you can set it up if you need to. But you don't necessarily need it since you just want to test. So we proceed further to checking everything that we have here. Then let's go to the security. The security is going to show us the security group we selected. Then can you see I allowed NFS 20244922443258. You understand? So and I allowed all traffic because any traffic that is coming in should be allowed to go out. I can decide to go at any time. So that's why Mr. Topper was able to come into the party and leave at any time because we allowed all. So that's just a similar example. So we have the networking part of it. So it's going to show everything related to the network. Then the storage, how many gig? It is 8. We selected 8. So of EBS volume, can you see the volume size? Then the status check is going to check. So we have the instance up and running. So the monitoring, see, when you start running your instance, if your company is complaining that requests are not delivering faster or something, come and check your traffic. Monitor your traffic. There is what we call staging. There is what we call production. And people even go to the extent of creating development. They have the money to run multiple instances at the same time and anchor the billing. During staging, you are meant to run various tests. Traffic, this is where you check. Someone is giving us one vCPU. This is where we check the utilization of that one vCPU. Then the status check. You now engage, there are some platforms that they tell you to come and engage users in terms of what's it called? In terms of, let's say, telling users to come and use this service, tell them their user experience. It's not only like they're accessing user experience, so the backend guys are also there to monitor what is the CPU utilization. We had 100 people are accessing the system. If 100 people are accessing it and we have 0.5 vCPU access, definitely double is accessing it. We should be having one vCPU consumption. So definitely, and once in the first 6 months, our company is not going to scale to that level. Why do we need to purchase a system of 4 vCPU? Yes, that's why these health checks and everything, that's why they are quite essential. So that's just it. Then we have the tags. Tags are beautiful and they are nice. Why are they nice? Is you have 2,000 instances on your system. If 10 belongs to company A, company B, company C, you can decide to tag them so that we say company A owns all these ones. You can filter by tags later. So you get to see why all these stuff are essential. Let's say, for instance, running and come and check all services that are available at AWS. So just give me a minute. So you cannot have, or you cannot even utilize all the services that are available on AWS, but at some point in time, you get to know most of them, virtually most of them. So for instance, the Elastic Compute, you can see we have EC2, Lightsail, Lambda, Batch, Elastic Beanstalk, serverless application repository, AWS, and all these stores. You see, Amplify, Amplify can be used. Amplify is not new, but the same front ends that you are building on those render, Nexify, and everything can be built with Amplify. There is a way you can couple Lightsail to build it up too, even with Elastic Beanstalk. Lambda, you can use Lambda to write functions. So there are just a lot of them. You understand? So storage systems. Okay, containers. When you start working with Docker registry, Docker services, Kubernetes service. I'm not really familiar with the OpenShift, but I'm familiar with the first three. Kubernetes is just like a container orchestration system that we use to manage our containers. Container registry is similar to your GitHub repository. So that's where you have your registry, you register your container. Container service is where you spin up your container.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Lost me for a moment, right? Hello?
Yes, exactly.
So everybody can just, pay per month to use S3 or something. So there are opportunities in tech. Opportunities are much. It's just for you to kind of sit and see how you can manage what we have. There is a way you can combine S3 Glacier, EFS, AWS backup, storage gateway, and the likes to generate funds somehow. But just think about that and get to know that. EFS, Elastic File System, is also similar to S3, but S3 is a bucket storage system. It is not as easy as EFS. S3 is just like, let's say, it's also similar to EFS, but EFS is just like an external drive to your laptop. But S3 is a bucket system that is far more data read input and output is not as fast as that of EFS. You understand? So that's just it. Because EFS, you plug it to your instance. S3, you connect it from your application. You see the difference? You connect S3 from your application itself. But EFS, you plug it into your application. They are two different things. So that's just that part. So when we talk about database, you can see these all have Dynamo, everything. So document DB, and all these ones that you see, documents, Dynamo, yeah, not all of them, but some of them are NoSQL database. So you want to move your stuff. Migration and transfer. Maybe you're working in a place where they have a large amount of data, you can transfer your data. Networking and content delivery.